Welcome back to the channel. This is Everyone's Game, brought to you by Haven Sports Media. Today we're going to take a look at our Match Day 1 team selection for the start of the UCL campaign. And this just means we're adding one more team to our fantasy football roster. We're already playing FPL, we're playing Sportsmax Fantasy for La Liga as well as the UCL. I'm going to be playing She Plays Fantasy Football for the WSL League. And I believe they're also going to be dropping a fantasy football for the Women's Champions League. So we just have a lot of fantasy football to be played. And hopefully we keep up with all of these teams. So without further ado, let's get into the team selection for match day 1 of the Champions League. In terms of my keepers, I'm going to be selecting 2 keepers from 2 different days, and this is something that everyone is going to suggest you do because you want to ensure that you have players that are playing on both of the days. So the first player that I've selected is going to be Kepa, and Kepa plays on the Wednesday, which means I'm gonna have to find a player that plays on Tuesday. But for me, I really wanted to target the Madrid players and target the Madrid defense because I do think that they're going to be able to keep a clean sheet. Kepa isn't going to get a lot of save points because I don't see Union Berlin taking those shots against the well crafted defense of Madrid. However, at least if my original keeper on the Tuesday doesn't perform well, I have that premium keeper in the likes of Kepa. On the Tuesday, I'm going to be playing with Timon Wellenreuter. I don't particularly watch this team. They haven't kept a clean sheet in, I think they played 4 matches already, and he's only made about 3 saves. So I don't particularly have a lot of hope. However, I do have to go find a keeper for the Tuesday. I originally wanted Jan Sommer, but he plays on the Wednesday. I wanted Samuel Suarez, but it doesn't look like he's going to be starting the UCL game because Benfica's first choice is supposed to be fit to play on Tuesday or Wednesday. So I have to find another keeper, and because most of my budget is already stacked in my forward and midfield, my defense has to be sort of comprehensive. It has to be very thrifty, and it has to be players that are going to get me the clean sheets as well as the attacking returns. So going straight into our defense, I've selected Fran Garcia to cover the potential Madrid clean sheet. Fran also got 2 assists in the weekend game against Real Sociedad, so I'm expecting him to be able to bring in the defensive points, bring in ball recoveries, but also bring in those attacking returns. And he's definitely going to be starting because he is Real Madrid's only left back. Moving on, we have Jules Koundé. We're going to be targeting teams like Man City, Barca, as well as Madrid because I really do think they're going to be able to bring in clean sheets. And Barcelona has been rebuilding their team, and they seem to be having a really good defensive system, which is why we're going to be targeting Barcelona against Antwerp. We're also going to be bringing in Nathan Ake, and it's always a risk to bring in any player under Pep, but I think Ake tends to play in the Champions League, and he is the cheapest Man City defensive option. So we're going to try to cover the possible clean sheet. They're playing against Krasnodar, and I don't see them conceding. So we're going to be targeting Nathan Ake. If he doesn't start, we're possibly gonna have to find, I think Akanji is 5 million, so we're gonna have to find the 0.5 million from somewhere to just cover the defense of Man City. We're also bringing in David Rom. RB Leipzig has been performing really well. They already won their game against Bayern in the German Super League. And we have Rom, who has, I think he has a goal and 2 assists already. He started the last 4 games. So Leipzig has been playing in a really good system, and I really expect him to be getting clean sheets, getting ball recoveries, and hopefully being able to bring in some of those attacking returns. We're also going to bring in Denzel Dumfries, and the only change that I can possibly see in my defensive lineup is switching Dumfries for De Lorenzo, because they somewhat have similar stats. I think they both have 1 goal, 2 assists so far for the season. However, I do back Inter Milan to get more clean sheets. They kept 8 clean sheets in their last Champions League campaign, and they're just a really good defensive side. So is Napoli, but I'm going to be going with Denzel Dumfries for the start of this season. In midfield, we have none other than Jude Bellingham. He is carrying Real Madrid on his back, and that's not to say no one else is pulling their weight, because Real Madrid is a team that is just so cohesive. They just have so many stars that are doing their own thing. But Jude came into this team and he's just on fire. He scores, he has really good movement, he attracts points, and he also attracts Player of the Match awards. He also can attract yellow cards, but I don't particularly see that as a problem, because he's going to score, he's going to assist, he's going to get ball recoveries as well. He is just the complete box-to-box player. And how is he 7.5 million? Like, this is such a steal of a deal. It's criminal that he is 7.5 million. We all saw what he did at Dortmund. We all saw what he was doing at the start of this season. I just don't get it. But come, get your steal of the deal, get your points, and he is honestly a player that I would say you can't go without. Another player that I wouldn't suggest you go without is Bukayo Saka. Now, I did not select Saka in my FPL team, and I'm living to bear the consequences of that, which is why I'm not going to go against the grain in this pick for my UCL fantasy team. Saka already has 2 goals and I believe 2 or 3 assists in this season. He is on penalties, so he's also the only Arsenal player that I will suggest. Odegaard is priced at 9 million, which is overpriced. So if you could already consider paying 9 million for Odegaard, I think just find the 0.5 to go to Saka. There is Trossard. I think he's around 7 million, and Declan Rice is around 6 million. So if you want to go with someone else, you can consider them. However, I think just go with Saka. He tends to be on the goals. He is on penalties, so I believe the points will come from him. All right, so moving on, we also have another player that I really want in my team is Xavi Simons. Like, I like young players who are literally on fire in their leagues, and Xavi Simons, last year he was with Leipzig. Sorry, he was with Salzburg, I believe, and he just lit. He lit them on fire. He had, I believe, around 19 goals, 18 assists in around 34 games. So he's just been on fire. We saw him come up from Barca, went to PSG. It wasn't Salzburg, it was PSV. He went to, and absolutely dominated over there. He's on loan to RB Leipzig now. He already has 3 goals and 4 assists. They're playing young boys, and it's not that Leipzig is going to roll over this team, but I do think they're going to dominate young boys, and Xavi Simons is going to have a part to play in that. So definitely, if you want to, just get him in your team. I just love young players that are literally just taking the chances and playing the game that they love. Next, we're gonna bring in Rodri. Rodri racks up ball recoveries, and I think he was one of, if not the highest point collector for ball recoveries last year. I think he had around 18 ball recovery points. So Rodri is not someone that I want to go without. However, I will if he is not in the starting lineup for Man City come Tuesday. So Rodri is priced at 6.5, and there are some good good options at 6.5 as well. We have Kimmich, who plays in Bayern Munich. They play Man United, and I don't particularly want to have the Bayern players against Man United. However, they play Copenhagen next. So if Rodri is not in the starting lineup, I can go for Joshua Kimmich and have him for that second match day, because I'm not too sure if I'm using a chip in my second in match day 2. I could also go for Marcus Thuram, who has, I believe it's 1 or 2 goals and 2 assists or something like that. And why I'm considering Marcus Thuram is I want to target the Inter Milan game. And if I decide to switch Denzel Dumfries for someone like De Lorenzo, I could go with Marcus Thuram to cover that fixture. The only bench for that I really have in this team is in the likes of Nico Gonzalez, because like I said, if you want to afford the forwards and players, the caliber of players that I have in my midfield, I'm going to have to get someone who is priced around 4.5 to 4 million. And Nico Gonzalez is playing for Porto. He has been a regular starter for them. I think he didn't start 1 game of the season so far. So I don't particularly expect a lot, but he plays on Tuesday, so I'm going to see what he can bring to the team. And if he doesn't bring any positive points, I could always substitute him for someone else who plays on the Wednesday that can bring in some points. So looking at the forwards, none other than Erling Haaland. Don't go without him. He broke scoring records last year. I think it was 42 goal contributions. He already has 7 goals in the Premier League so far and an assist. So just don't go without him. He just surpassed Jude Bellingham in terms of percentage selected. He was around 71 when Jude was 72. He's now 77% selected, and Jude is 76% selected. So these 2 players I would not advise you go without. I'm also going to bring in Robert Lewandowski. Again, the Barcelona against Antwerp fixture is one that I really want to target. I can't remember how many goals Lewandowski has already. However, he is definitely one that should get some goal contributions in this matchup. If I could, let me see if I can find it really quickly. Alright, Lewandowski, he already has 3 goals and 3 assists in 5 matches. He's also taken penalties for Barcelona, and I just don't anticipate Antwerp being able to prove themselves in this Champions League matchup. So in terms of the forwards, there are a lot of forwards that you just kind of have to figure out who you want to go with, because there is the likes of Harry Kane, there is Mbappe, who should be the sole talisman at PSG now. However, I've decided to go with Victor Osimhen for my final forward spot, and that's because I want to target the Braga fixture. Braga has conceded in all but 2 of their matches so far in this season, and I just expect Victor Osimhen to bring in the points for Napoli. Last year he scored around 26 goals, I believe, and he already scored 3 goals in this season. Braga is leaking goals, and someone like Osimhen is going to be able to capitalize on that, and he's going to be one of the main strikers for Napoli. So that is one of the fixtures that I really wanted to target, and I'm going to have to go without Harry Kane, even though he's playing against Man United, who doesn't look good at this point in time. I'm going to go with our PSG Mbappe, because that's a choice though, because I don't particularly want to see that PSG versus Dortmund matchup. I think it is going to be one of the a tougher game, so I'm just deciding to not have any players from that fixture. This is the team selection for match day 1. Let's see how they're going to line up. Like I said, make sure you have all of your players who play on Tuesday in your starting lineup, and any of the remaining 4 players must be players that play on Wednesday. So we have Haaland being my captain on the Tuesday, and if he doesn't score a hat-trick by some power, he is my captain on the Wednesday is going to be Jude Bellingham. I do believe that because there are 2 sets of fixtures on the Tuesday and Wednesday, you can't switch your captaincy between those sets, the earlier fixture and the later fixture, and you could also do the same thing on the Wednesday. So theoretically, you can change your captaincy 4 times. However, I'm just going to stick with Erling Haaland, and then Jude Bellingham. You could always take a punt on someone else, but these are going to be my 2 captaincy options. There is a link. I'm going to link in the description the league code for my fantasy, my UCL fantasy mini league. It's also on screen, and there's also the Predictor league as well that you can join in and just come in, have some fun, and challenge the team. So this is the match day 1 team selection for the UCL fantasy league. Like I said, we also have a lot more fantasy games to be playing, like the WSL, like the UWCL, whenever the She Plays team launches that. I think WSL starts at the beginning of October, so it's coming up. And then we also have Women's Champions League coming up as well, that I'm hoping to do videos for. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about this particular team, if you would change any players, if you think I'm missing any players, and also let me know any video content that you would like to see, and I will try to produce that for you. Thank you for watching. This has been our match day 1 team selection. This has been everyone's game, brought to you by Sports Haven. All right, peace.